Well, good day, my Facebook family and friends. I'm here again on Tuesday, just sharing from my heart the importance of self care. And as you can see, I'm here again with my sister, my friend Joyce Evelyn.
Good morning.
And we just sitting here talking and chatting this morning. And we just wanted to share with you this morning from our heart. On last week, we were here and we talked about depression and we talked about mental illness and we talked about the effect that it have on a lot of us, as we say, church people,
Yes.
people of faith,
Right.
believers,
Yeah.
and that's something that a lot of us have not talked about in the past, but it's something that we want to talk more about.
Right.
Me and Joyce has been sitting here talking for a while prior to videoing, and we were talking about a big issue that's going around on social media today, especially on Facebook, and that's talking about church hurt.
That's right.
And church hurt is real, and that's not our topic or subject today, but we are mentioning about church hurt because it is really true. And church hurt is just like mental illness and depression in the church. People don't want to talk about it because it may offend somebody. Um, you're just afraid, you don't want to be offensive, but it's something that we really need to talk about and we really need to help because they're real issues.
Right.
And we have
Right.
said if we can help with one person once a
Yes.
week,
Yes.
if we can just help one somebody, Joyce.
Yes.
And last week we got a lot of feedback
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
people were really benefited from us just talking and sharing and voicing this and making this more aware. Yesterday I was listening on the TV that even in the government they're trying to get our governor to even put more things in place to help in mental illness
Right.
because they seeing how important it is and how many people affected by it, and it's the thing that's not talked about. It we need to get more health care benefits for people that suffer with mental illness.
Right.
They even talking about it in the school now, making it a part of our curriculum in school about mental health.
That's right.
And so
That's
church,
right.
we're behind.
We
We
are.
need to do some more workshops and some more things to help in this particular area. So George, we just want to talk. You were just sharing something with me about emotional
Right.
healing. So go
Right.
ahead and share that,
Yeah,
Joyce.
I've been reading material from Dr. Charles Stanley, who's a phenomenal teacher,
Yes, he
about
is.
healing emotions. And he's talking about in healing emotions, he's talking about depression, anxiety, rejection, guilt. Let me see, what is it? Another one that's really good. Unforgiveness.
Yes.
And those things like that. And we need to deal with those things, and we're talking about church hurt, and somebody's probably gonna say, oh, you shouldn't be hurt if you're in a church. Yeah, we get hurt, things hurt us.
Yes.
And when we say church hurt, it doesn't mean that the church is just bam 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 hurting us. You come to church hurt. And I've always been taught church is a hospital.
Right.
If I come there with hurt, then I need to leave feeling a little better
Right.
about whatever I'm hurting about.
Right.
But I can't leave feeling like, oh, I didn't get what I was looking for today. And that's because you have things that are embedded. Dr. Charles Stanley said there are things that have been rooted
Yes.
a long time ago
Mhm.
that you have not dealt with.
Right.
I also listened to Pastor Rick, and he says the same thing. There are
Rick
things
Warren,
that
yeah.
are embedded
Yes.
in you that you did not deal with back there, so you brought them along with you through life,
Yes.
not talking about them, and now that you're at a stage where it's just getting to you and you don't know what to do, afraid to reach out to people because you don't want to be, put down or cast aside, or saying, you're not praying enough, you're not reading your Bible enough, and but these people are saying, talk to someone. First of all, you have to acknowledge, God, I need help
I got a problem.
because
Yes.
these things are bothering me. Pray, read your scriptures, and then talk to somebody.
Right.
It's just like, and every woman, little children are committing suicide.
Yes, Joyce.
They are depressed.
Young
Mental
kids.
illness does not mean that you go around being a shooter or that you walk the street looking crazy, you're drinking alcohol. There are
No.
people dressed up and have mental
Profess-
issues. Professors, doctors,
Yes.
mothers,
People from all walks of
all
life.
walks of life, preachers,
Yes.
saints,
Every area, every profession, everybody.
everybody. We all have them.
All of our families, you have
They talk about
someone in your
dysfunctional.
family that deals with mental issues.
Right.
Sometimes, we say, oh, that's my crazy uncle.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just my crazy
Yeah,
auntie.
yeah.
Well, if you got a crazy auntie, you probably got a crazy niece. And you probably got a
Exactly.
crazy sister. And you
Right.
probably, because if it's one, it's probably more than one.
Right.
And then they don't be dealt with because they
Right.
ostracize, oh, that's
Right.
just my crazy uncle.
Right.
Instead of saying, what can we do to
Yeah.
help my uncle?
What
Why
is
is my
really going
uncle
on?
acting like this?
Exactly.
What and we're not going to keep referring to him as our crazy uncle.
Yeah,
We're going to
because-
help our uncle,
Right,
because then
right.
we push him aside. And see, that's what happens in the church too,
Yeah.
and that's what we got to
Push them
stop
aside.
dealing with. Because if I'm in pain and something's bothering me, and I come and I talk to somebody, I don't want to hear it all over everywhere.
Exactly.
If you're not going to help me, please don't hinder me.
Right, right.
And that's what we're trying to talk about, because we're here to help you.
Right.
We're not here to hinder you. So we're not talking about you. We're not badgering the church, because we're church people.
Right.
I'm
We're
saying
not-
we
no.
need to help you more than what we've been helping you.
Exactly.
When we talk about church, I've been hurt in the church. And as bad as it sounds, I have heard it, not intentionally.
Right.
But
But
I
you
have
have.
heard it.
I
I
have
have
too.
judged. I have misjudged. I have
too.
criticized.
I have
I have
too.
measured people up to my yardstick.
Right, right, right,
And that caused people pain.
right.
I didn't realize that what was I doing, but when the Lord showed me, I'm apologizing. I'm asking God to forgive me. I ask others to forgive me, because it's never been my intention to hurt anybody.
Right.
Because I know what hurt feel like,
Yeah.
and it doesn't feel
It
good.
doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel
It doesn't
good.
feel good. And like you said, people want to measure up to your yardstick, and they think that that's what's going to make them feel better. If I can be like her, then I'll feel better.
Mhm.
Or if I can look, nothing bothers her. I
Mhm.
wish I could be like that. You don't know what's going on here, because I have on my mask.
Yes.
I have on my mask, and you looking at me like, oh, she's okay. I remember when I did the workshop in Atlanta at a convocation last year, I had everyone to come in, and I said, I want everyone that has a cell phone to take a selfie.
Mm-hmm.
Take a selfie. Big smile. Take that selfie. And they took them. I said, look at them. Show your friends down the aisle your picture. Now I want you to take that face off.
Mm-hmm.
Now we getting ready to get real.
Right. And
Now I
that's
want the real you to stand up.
And see, George, that's what we need more teaching, as I was saying earlier, in the councils and our conventions. And we need these type of workshops. We done heard the good preaching. We turn on the TV, we can see good preaching everywhere.
Everywhere.
But when we get to some of these meetings and things, we need to talk about some of the real issues that affect our life every day.
Right.
Preaching and telling me how Jesus brought Daniel out the lion den, and how he delivered the 3 Hebrew boys
understand
and
all
connected
that.
those bones back. I heard that over and over and over again, and I know that he's done all that and do all that. Tell me how to get this pain out of my heart.
That's right, Wilma. How to get that pain out
Tell
of
me
your
how
heart.
to deal with these things that stop me from wanting to take my life, or wanting. Sometimes some people don't want to take their life, but they just don't want to live anymore.
Right. They just want to walk away.
They won't take their life because they're not at that place. Some people
Right.
would never take their life,
Right.
but they really just don't have a desire to live.
Right. And if we as saints, we know, we've been taught that that's wrong.
Mhm.
So you'd be like, God, I don't want to commit suicide, but I'm so tired. I just can't do this anymore. And they're dealing with things in their head. It's one thing. You listen. There are times when you cannot focus because you got this pulling over here and that pulling over here and that pulling over here and that pulling over here. All these thoughts, and you're trying to put them together, and you try to pray, and when you try to pray, you got all these things bothering you. Yes, you're supposed to bring your mind in and worship God and that, but the stuff.
Yes.
We got to get rid of the emotional hurt.
Right.
I had someone to come to me on Sunday, and they said, Sister House, I've been hurt, but I'm afraid to talk about it because I don't want to hear about it.
Right. Right. Because
And
they're already
in the
hurting,
church.
and they don't want to be
Right.
ostracized.
Right,
They don't want to be singled out.
right,
Because, see, most people wouldn't probably know that they're hurt.
right. Because you're wearing your mask.
Because we do. We've been trained how to do that.
Yeah.
You put on your good face. You don't
Yeah.
let people know what's going on.
Right.
How dare you talk about what happens in this house?
Right.
You better not take our business
Not at
out
all.
of this house.
Not at all.
Don't you dare do that. And
at
so
all.
we hide when we're hurting. We don't tell anybody. So what do self-care has to do with this? Me caring enough for myself to say, help!
I know that's right.
Caring enough for myself to say, okay, I can't take no more. I've been hurt. Help me.
Right.
And when I ask for help, then help is going to be there.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to tell some of you
Right.
all. All we need to do is know that you need help.
Right. Because
And we're going to help you.
Because if you don't say help, you're talking about self-care, but if you don't say help, that stuff is killing you inside.
Right.
It's stressing you out. You're having headaches. You can't sleep. You can't eat. You don't want to be around nobody. You don't want to go nowhere. You're crying by yourself. That mask, you mask and all that. I'm crying by myself. I don't feel like going to church because I don't want to do this and I want to hear that. Somebody hurt me in church. I don't want to be close to them. I don't want to do that. Well, you talk about it.
But
gotta
then when
talk
you
about
walk out, George, nobody knows that, because when you do come to church, you're so dressed up.
it. Right. The
Nobody
mask.
know that all week long you've been struggling.
Right. The mask.
Nobody know, because we have been taught how to put that mask on.
Right.
Because I come to church and I sing in the choir and I worship
Shout.
the Lord and I get a good blessing. I go back home and I get back up under my cover
Yeah.
and I cover up again.
Yeah.
And we told to pray, and yes. But now, teach me how to really direct my prayer.
Right. How to direct
And
it.
I can't just keep telling you to pray. I got to pray that God help us to put some things in place
Right.
to help some people.
Right.
Because now we're crying out to you, elders and pastors and bishops and directors of organizations and things. We're saying, put some of these workshops in your councils and put
Right.
some of these workshops at
That's
your
right.
convention
Help us.
and help us, and call in some of the people that have been trained to help in particular areas. As I told you last week, when something was wrong with my eye, yes, I went to my primary doctor,
Right.
but then he sent me to the ophthalmologist, the person that specialized in eye
Eye
care,
care, yes.
and he really helped me
Right.
because my doctor was limited into what he can do.
Right.
And he sent me to specialists. So sometimes we as people need to go to specialists. We need some team effort
That's
to
right.
come together
That's
to
right.
help resolve some of these issues. I shared with you earlier, George, I said when my sister Rose was struggling with drugs, but she's been clean 29 years, but I've never forget
Amen.
when she was struggling. And I wanted so bad to help her, and I wanted her to go into rehab, and I wanted to take her to rehab, and I wanted her to get some help because I was just tired of watching her destroy herself and destroy her family and stuff. And I kept saying, Rose, you need to do this, and Rose, you need to do that. And I remember going to a place and talking to them about my sister and telling them I wanted to help. And he said, not until she's ready.
That's right. That's right. Not until they're
And
ready.
he told me, I said, okay. He said, but when she's ready, he gave me a card. He said, call me. I'll help her. Well, sure enough, when I talked to my sister after I talked to them, and I told them that these people said that they can help you, Rose. They say, but you got to be ready. And I say, so whenever you're ready, sis, I say, you let me know. I get some help from you. When I was talking to her, she was sober that day, and then she used some more.
Right.
But about 2 months later, she came to me and she said, sis, you told me if I ever needed help, I wanted to get help, that you would help me. And I said, okay. And I went and got that card, and I picked up the phone and I called the people. And they say, your sister wants some help? And I said, yeah. He said, hang up the phone and tell her to call me.
Exactly, because she has to
Self-help.
say it. Right.
And she did. I said, Rose, you really want help? They want you to call. She made that phone call. I went with her. I sat with her and I helped her through that process. And within a few days, she was in rehab. And she's been 29 years clean today.
God is
But
good.
she had the self-help.
She had the
to make,
self-help.
I can help her. But she had to initially make an effort
Effort to do
to
it.
get some help.
Right.
And that's what we're telling some of you all.
Yeah.
You got to say that this is bothering me.
Right. And I need help.
I need help in this particular area.
Right.
Even in our health, if you know that you're sick and you're in pain, but you don't go to the doctor, you'll die at home.
Right. Right. If you don't see what's going on.
And some people, out of fear, we don't take care of our physical bodies because
Exactly.
we
the
are
same way.
afraid.
The
We're
same
afraid.
way.
Oh, this may be cancer. Oh, this may be so and so. Oh, don't
we
tell
try
me.
to diagnose ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we don't get treatment and things are so far gone. It's the same way
help.
spiritually.
Right.
If we don't get some treatment,
We'll be gone.
And it's a team
We'll be
effort.
gone.
It's
We'll
a
be
team effort. Every pastor don't have it all. Every
They
deacon,
don't.
every group, every one individual. No, one individual have the answer.
to
But we come
everything.
together
No.
collectively
Right.
to help, and that's why we coming as a team now, talking to you all, because we coming together to can help. Because I don't know it all. Joyce don't know
Not
it
at
all.
all.
We don't know it all, but we know how to get in touch with people
Yeah.
that can help us
Yeah.
and guide us and direct us
Yeah.
to get some of the help that some of our people need.
Right.
Because we've been there.
Right.
We have experienced a lot of things, and we
lot of
went through it,
stuff.
and God has helped us, and now we got to reach out
and
and
help others.
We got to help
Yeah,
somebody.
we got to help somebody else.
We got to help
Yeah,
somebody.
like Wilma says, if we don't help but one person, that's one less person that will feel like they're not a part, they're cast aside, that they, I don't have nobody. You hear people say, I don't have nobody.
And
Yes,
they really feel like that.
Yeah,
They
you feel like you don't
that.
have, and
But
that
the
your
enemy
feelings are
We
real.
validating your feelings, yes.
And that has to be validated. You feel like you don't have anyone, and people say, oh, you got somebody, you got me. But you don't understand. You have to really, really understand when I make that statement, what I mean, I don't have anyone. And yes, I'm saved. You got Jesus. I know I got Jesus.
George, somebody called me last night. A situation happened, and they called me around 11:30 last night and told me something. And I prayed, and then they had to call back an hour and a half later to tell me to pray some more and gave me a little more details. And then this time, they really told me the story, because at first they was afraid to tell me
Exactly.
because they didn't want me to judge them.
Right. Right.
Because they dealing with some issues.
Right.
And they didn't want me to judge, and they thought enough to call me to pray because they know that I would pray.
Mm-hmm.
But they needed to know that I would pray without judging them.
That's right.
I would pray without looking at them differently.
Yeah.
And I had to let them know that, honey, you're hurting.
Right.
And something's bothering you.
Right. And that's okay.
And I'm not sitting here to judge you. I'm praying with you.
Right.
And let the other people know that I'm praying for them. I'm
Right.
legitimately concerned.
Right.
And there's no judgment whatsoever.
Right. Right.
Because who am I to judge?
Right.
And
Right.
I could felt the difference the next time, the release that they had to
Yeah.
know that, okay,
Yeah.
I know she prayed, but now I know that she's really praying.
Right.
And I
Right.
know that she really cared.
Yeah.
Because they believe, because I don't
Yeah.
think they would have initially made the call if they didn't think I would
Right.
pray and care.
Right.
But they had to feel a little bit comfortable. And it was a time that I probably wouldn't have been, and honestly, I probably wouldn't have been
Right. Right.
that way.
Right. You have to have gone.
But I've
through
had to
something.
learn some things.
Right. Right.
I've had to feel
Lessons.
some of these pains.
That's
Because see,
right.
now I know what it is to
That's right.
walk in and people look at you differently.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And I know what it feels like now.
Right.
So I try my best not to misjudge. I shared with you earlier today how I kind of misjudged somebody.
Right.
And God beat me up real
Right.
bad.
Right.
And I had to say, Lord, I'm sorry.
Right.
Because I was looking at them and I didn't really realize that I was looking at them
In that
in the
way.
manner that I was
Right.
looking at them.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm able to say, and I thank God because I can be honest. Because sometimes God had to show us, let us see ourselves.
Right. And what we're doing. See ourselves and what we're doing. And I have been like that too. You look at people and you judge them. You look beyond the person. I look beyond Wilma.
Yes.
And I'm judging. And I have been there and I had to say, I'm sorry. Lord, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I should not have said that. I should not have thought like that.
Mm-hmm.
We have to. And like we said, nobody is perfect.
We're not perfect.
Nobody.
We're not perfect. And that's what we want you to understand. Yes, there's been church, but the church is not perfect. The church is the hospital.
That's right.
People go to the hospital to get well, and sometimes when you go to the hospital, you get an infection at the hospital.
Right.
The place that you went to help you.
Right.
So the same thing does happen at church.
Right.
You go to the hospital, church, the
Right.
hospital, the
Right.
spiritual hospital, and sometimes you get an infection.
Right.
But it's still more good than bad there.
That's right.
We want you to know that yes, you may have been hurt by church, but that same group of people, those same godly people, are really there to help to heal you.
That's right. That's
We're there
right.
to heal your hurts.
That's right.
We're there to help you.
That's right. That's right. And there are people that can identify. They can identify with your hurts. They can identify with how you feel. We're living in a fast-paced world now. is so different than back in what 76 and 80s
Yes.
and 90s. The world is fast. We got technology. We got social media. We got fast driving cars, electric driving cars, iPads, tablets, smart TVs, and
Yeah.
the microwave and the instant coffee and the Q cup and all that kind of stuff. The world has changed. Our children have changed. We were talking about the way what we did to our children. You hit your kid. My mother beat me with an extension cord.
Mm-hmm.
Hit them kids
I
with
got
an
whooping with belts and extension cords and
Hit
switches.
hit those kids with that now and see what happens. Everything has changed.
Yes.
The children will look at you now and say, if you hit me, I'm going to call the police.
Mm-hmm. And we'll
Little
say, oh,
ones.
yeah, we'll do so and so. And you may do it. And you're going to go to jail.
And you're going to go
And
to
you're
jail.
going to pay for
So
it.
things have changed. And listen.
So we have to have different
parents,
strategies
that's
of dealing
right.
with
And
things
you got to
now.
have different strategies of dealing with things. And these things have become stressful to parents.
Yes.
Real parents.
Mhm.
Parents. My son was saying yesterday, and he's not saved, he was saying, Mommy, there are mothers and then there are baby mamas.
Yes. Mhm.
There are fathers and then there are baby daddies.
Right. Right. Sure.
He said it's a different generation.
Yes. Yes.
And he said now parents want to party with their kids.
Yeah.
They want to smoke weed with their daughters.
Right.
They want to go out to the club with their daughters. We didn't do that kind
No.
of stuff. But this younger generation is doing this. So now we have become a skipped generation. The children have skipped the parents and come to us.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So now many parents have taken on a different load. You have raised your children. Now you're taking on the stresses of the younger generation.
Right.
Parents are stressed. This is where stress and anxiety and the emotions and that kind of stuff
You got
come
grandmothers and
Yes.
great-grandmothers still raising kids. People in 60 and 70 years old ain't got no business
Raising
happen
those-
to be raising these
Not
little
unless it
kids.
absolutely happens.
I mean, they
You've
shouldn't
got
have,
to.
right.
But you
But they doing it, and
They're
they're in a
doing
different
it.
era, so they don't know how to
Deal with
They dealt with
that.
their kids when they was that age. But I was 24 when I had my first child.
I was 21, 22.
Okay, well now, don't bring me nobody,
I
baby.
no little bitty baby. I don't want no
I
little baby.
can't do that.
Right, I can't do the things I want to do. I can't function the way I want to function. So that's stress. That's stress. I got to make sure they eat. I got to make sure they have clothes. I got to make them think it's sick. I got to do this. I got to do that. Then I'm trying to take care of me
Mhm.
and my well-being
Yes,
and my mental health
yes,
and my welfare
yes.
and
So,
and all that you talk about. I'm trying to do that for me. So here I am, stressed out, depressed.
Mhm.
You want to go? I don't want to go.
mhm,
You want to eat? I don't feel like eating.
mhm,
I'm tired.
mhm.
People say, what you so tired from doing?
Sometimes we're just tired.
Of being tired. And you need somebody to say, I need to say, Wilma, girl, I'm just tired.
Mhm.
I'll say sometimes, Wilma, let's go talk. Let's go have some tea.
Yeah, and that's what we need to do, and that's what we want to encourage you to talk to somebody,
Yeah.
buddy
Don't
up
have
with
to be us.
somebody. It don't have to
Go
be
get some
us.
professional help.
Talk to somebody, buddy up with somebody. Stop being isolated. That's
Right.
the trick of the enemy,
It is.
to isolate you and make
Right.
you keep you off by yourself
Right.
and make you feel like you can't trust anybody. That's
Right.
the enemy.
Right.
You can trust people. Yes, you may have been hurt in church, you may have been hurt in school, you may have been hurt somewhere else, but it's still more help out there than hurt out there.
That's right.
It's more good at the hospital than it is bad
That's
at the
right.
hospital.
That's
There's
right.
germs at the hospital because there's people at the hospital.
Exactly.
There's germs in the church because there's people in the church.
That's right.
So, but the church is not bad, and we
No.
don't want that misconception
No, it's
that
not.
the
Not
church,
at
when you
all.
go to the church, you're going to get hurt.
No,
No,
no.
when you go to the church, you're going to get help.
Right.
There are just some people there, just like all the people in the hospital.
Right.
Sometimes that's why they put people on isolation, and they
Right.
make you put a gown on and a mask on
Right.
and stuff. And then
Right.
sometimes people just cannot come in the room.
Right.
And so sometimes when we dealing with you with your soul and some itches and hurt,
Right.
everybody can't have a part of that
Everybody
healing
they cannot,
process.
They cannot. It cannot. Woman's just like on your job. You get a good job and you work and you work, and after a while you go to work and you be like, I just don't understand why my coworker treat me like that. I just don't understand. I mean, they just deliberately always doing something to me, and I don't see where I'm doing anything to them. You are hurt. There's hurt. There's hurt in
It's
your
hurt
home.
everywhere.
There's hurt. Listen, the old people used to say teeth and tongue don't get along.
Right.
But they got to live together.
But
you
gotta-
try to find a way. Oh, God, I got to stop biting my tongue like this.
You got to find a way to, I got to keep this teeth out the tongue.
Right.
Because I'm going to be to chew this tongue up, and I need this tongue.
I need the tongue.
I need the tongue just as much as I need the teeth.
That's right.
I need the teeth just as much as I need the tongue. So now we're going to have to get along.
So now we're going to have to get along. I got to learn how to heal. I got to learn how to not put my tongue between my teeth and come down on it.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
So, George, let's just pray for somebody. So we trust we've said something today to help you, to encourage you to reach out to get some help.
Right.
We're praying for you today. So let's just pray. We're joining hands together, and we're praying for you out there that the Lord will just touch and heal and deliver you everywhere you hurt.
Amen.
Let's pray, George. Lead us in
Jesus.
prayer.
Oh God, we thank you today,
Yes,
Lord,
God.
for being such a good God.
You're
We
such a
thank
good
you,
God.
Lord, for being able to sit here and
Yes, God.
share with people on Facebook and our families and
Yes.
our friends. And God, we ask that you look on them today, Lord. Touch everyone that is
Everywhere,
hurting,
God.
that has any kind of pain, any kind of ache. Lord, touch them and help them to realize that you are here to help them.
Yes,
Lord,
God.
I thank you because let them know that these things that we are facing and have in our challenges in our life, that you went through all of this stuff.
Yes, God.
If you didn't go through it, we wouldn't feel it.
Right.
Because we're like you. And
Yes.
no one person is perfect, and you are making us every single day.
Perfecting us, God.
Amen.
Thank you.
And God, we ask you to help them, God, in whatever way they need. And Lord, we thank you just for being so kind and so good and merciful to us. And God, we ask you to continue to bless us and help Wilma and I to be able to continue to reach young women, young
Yes.
men, everyone that will listen. And if we can just help one person, God, help us to help one person
Yes,
that
Lord.
will be able
Yes,
to
God.
say, I was helped through that ministry.
Amen.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
So God bless you. Thank you for listening. Please
Amen.
share with us and let us know if we have helped you in any kind of way, or some topics or things that you would like to hear us talk about. And just contact us. God bless you.
Amen.